Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat, and I am back. Today we are going to be painting some of these. And it's not really painting because we're using real leaves. We're using Tim Holtz Distress Oxide sprays and some metallic watercolor. And that's it to get these type of things. And the fun part I think about this is if you're doing a fall journal, you can easily make these for journaling cards, tags, but you could also do greeting cards if you like to think or send out Thanksgiving greeting cards. You could do that, whatever, but they're really cool because of the metallics in there. So what we're going to do is just start off with, I'm just going to use some scraps I have. So some pieces of, this is watercolor paper that I have that's like a kid's watercolor paper, so it's cheap, it's nothing expensive, but of course you can do them on more expensive if you're going to make a greeting card or something like that. I have ink all over me already, so we're off to a good start. So then I'm going to take just a leaf that I took off of a tree in my yard, so you can use any kind of leaves that you want to use shape wise and all that. And then I'm going to use, I have Wild Honey, Distress Oxide, Crackling Campfire, Ground Espresso, Vintage Photo, peeled paint. And I don't know like exactly, I may not use some of them, I may use, you know what I mean, more of whatever. Doesn't matter, because you're just covering the back of the leaf with the Distress Oxides, and I have them here in my little palette. And I'm moving this over. This is just magazine. Set that on. Can you guys see? Yep, you can see that. Okay. So let's do a little bit of the Wild Honey. And it doesn't matter how you do it. You're just, you know, spreading it on. And maybe a little Crackling Campfire. And they're fun because they mix together. You can do some of the stem. I don't do all the stem because you can see these ones have some pretty long stems. Then maybe some of the darker color here and there on the tips or something. You could probably use stamps to do this too. So if you don't want to go out and get leaves off of trees or whatnot, you can use stamps if you have them. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, and then I use this little thing, or you could use one of these. I might use this one this time to kind of, you'll see, squish them a little bit, but you don't want to go crazy with the scraping and squishing because you will drag all the paint out from under the leaf, and then it just looks like a big mess. So it's almost like doing stamps. Just push on. Oh, there's little buggies on there. I just literally went and picked those off the tree. Sorry, little buggies. I think they're aphids anyway, so go away. I should have probably done something to them first, but it's fine. They're not going to hurt anything. So yeah, you're kind of using them like stamps basically. And then you just lift it up. And voila, there you are. And then what we're going to do is get rid of that little buggy. Go away, little guy. Is take a brush in your, and you can use a tinier one if you want. Let me see, let me find a tinier one. I'll use this one. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to. Actually, I want... Sorry, just digging through my mess of brushes here. Use this one. In the gold, or whatever, whichever metallic you want. Sometimes I use a couple of them. And then just touch wherever it's still pretty wet, and it'll all start to move around in there. You can kind of see that it's moving. I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than this. So you're not like stressing about, I don't know how to paint a leaf. I can't remember how many points that particular leaf has. That's what I always do. Like, I know what it looks like kind of, but really, what does it look like? That's usually the problem I have when I go to paint leaves, because I always have to like overthink such things when it's really probably not necessary. I like to come into the tips a little bit, do some of the veining, because it just looks cool when it hits the light. I hope you guys can see this well, because it is pretty cool. It just moves around wherever it's wet, but it doesn't go to every little nook and cranny, so you just kind of get that glimmer a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's hard to tell because it's wet right now, so the whole thing's kind of glistening, but it will dry and look fabulous. So then we're going to take a little bit of the espresso and just do some light splatters. I don't want great big splatters. And then maybe I'll do some gold too or something. So yeah, I think these would make really fun greeting cards, or obviously for a fall journal. Fabulous, because you could just glue that right onto like some book page or something and make yourself a little card of some kind. Sorry, everybody's texting now because I started a video, so no, I can't right now. Okay, so then I think I'll do another one, maybe a bigger one. This one has some paint on it that I'm gonna use next, so that one did too. Oh well. I'll grab another leaf. I want a different kind of leaf, I think. These are just off of my Morning Glories, and they're looking very sad. But it's kind of a cool leaf because it has lots of veins, and that's something to look for when you're outside looking at leaves, is the veining, because that really, you know, gives you a cool look. So I'm going to take the same brush, because that worked pretty good, get it washed out good. And I don't really care, like these particular leaves don't really turn a color except brown, but you can paint them whatever color that you want, even if it's not the right kind of leaf for said color, right? This one's a little floppy, so it's kind of hard, but I'm going to do a little green. Oopsie, stop folding on yourself. It is better if they're a little bit more rigid leaves than these floppy kind, but it's all right. And yes, it kind of is a lot of color, but it seems to work fine as long as you don't scrape across it, like as I was saying, like don't take your scraper and move across the leaf, because otherwise it'll just smoosh it all out and it won't look like anything. It'll just look like a blob. So it's better to just kind of gently push down on it, like more like a stamp. This one's really wet, so this may be a disaster, but we're gonna do it anyway. Probably more rigid leaves are better, but got it on there, and we can take a paper towel and just press down. And I'm going to have a little extra over there, but I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to kind of suck up this little dot, and it'll just be a, you know, as if we splattered it. This is probably what I should have done for paint splatter, but that's okay. I'm doing it today instead. See, that one didn't work as great because I had a little too much on there. But it's still cool. It will be interesting still. We'll put a little bit of the gold in there, and you can kind of see it just goes all over, very happy like. And I might actually just take it, put just a tiny bit more on, and we'll do it again. Not a lot on this time, just a little. And see if it gets a lighter version. can even take it and kind of dab it onto the magazine page. I don't think I did the stem, did I? Well, here we go. We're going to see how it goes. We can always paint a stem on. I gotta move this other one because I keep trying to set stuff in it. I need to say hugs and blessings too while we're waiting here. Hugs and blessings to Annie, Joan, Pam, Beverly, and Chris. Thank you guys so much for always watching and leaving such kind comments. I really appreciate it very much. And welcome to new subscribers. That one did a little better. And welcome back to those of you that have watched me for a long time or a short time. I appreciate it so much. I can't tell you how much. Couldn't do it without you guys, that's for sure. And don't forget to check and see if the like button works. Just click it once. And if you can, if you get asked, if you don't mind hyping the video, that helps too, you know, just helps the small channels is what they say. I have no idea. But I say yes to it whenever I'm asked when I'm watching a video. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and something we might do with this one is go around it with some ink, just to see if that, you know, since I overlapped them like that. But I do want to do a little bit of splatter. Let's do maybe some of the red splattering. Oh, that was a lot. I got too much on here. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside to dry, and we'll revisit, but I'll bring it up so you can see. Okay, I'll set that one over here, out of the way. And then I thought you could even do just pieces of paper. I just have loads of these pieces of paper that I have laying around and I like to use, which would be great for like backing things and whatever. So let's use this other leaf. Make sure we don't have any friends hanging on. I'm always amazed after it gets real cold at night that those things are still hanging on out there. I guess it hasn't gone below freezing, but it's been close. I'm getting a little too much liquid there. So the big thing is just try to get all the edges if you can, because obviously if you don't, you're not going to get the shape. That one's kind of sucking up the color. Okay, maybe we'll go this way. So you can make your own papers, and you could do things that kind of look more like eco dye if you're like I am, and I'm not eco dyeing. Sorry, that's just not going to happen. So I like the faux look of eco dye, which is kind of, I did put a leaf in that fall digital I just put out, because I did this is what I did, and that's my version of eco dye. Because see, it turns out pretty cool. I mean, they, especially if they got good veining on them. This is from my birch tree in the backyard that hasn't turned yellow yet, but the leaves are great. Need this one. I just think the gold really adds something. I think they'd be just really pretty greeting cards. That one doesn't have a whole lot of liquid left. Like that leaf really sucked that up. But it'll look neat when it dries. So that's why you got to kind of, like, you don't want to put down multiple leaves because you might not get the gold to do much in them if you let them get dry at all. You just kind of play around and squigglies and all that. Just looks kind of cool. Okay, we can do another one. I'm sticking my arm in that probably. Let's use one of these again. A little bit bigger one maybe. Make sure we got no friends. No friends allowed. Those little aphids will eat everything in their path, I'm telling you. Stinkers. Those and those pill bugs or roly-polies or whatever they call them drive me nuts. I used to love those things when I was a little kid. Well, I grew up in Nevada, so like if you found one in your whole yard, you were like, oh, I found a roly-poly. Here it's like 5 bajillion per every, I don't know. Pull up a plant and there's like 20 of them hanging on the roots. It's ridiculous. They kill your grass, everything. I never knew because, like I said, in Nevada, it's like a miracle to find a roly-poly. These ones are a little hard. This one's starting to dry, so I definitely do it now if you're going to do it, because if you wait until they're dry, it's really hard because they curl. So obviously it's hard to get the whole shape when they're curled. That's why that one works so well, because it was wet and floppy, but we got it. And it's not perfect, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. It's actually just more fun than anything. Highly recommend. I find it very relaxing. As long as you don't squish all the paint out all over the place, it usually turns out pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect because they're all dried out leaves, right? Very nice. Sorry, get quiet when I get concentrating here. And then you kind of know there's a little point down here. You can come, you know, get that so that you're getting a little bit better shape than what I got here. But it really gives you kind of that skeleton leaf look, which I like. Because there's just a little bit here and there. And then do I have like a smaller? I have one of these that's smaller. Maybe we'll try this. My Morning Glory again. It's not as floppy because it's a little bit smaller. Whoops, I forgot to do the stem. Don't forget the stem. It's important. This is a little tedious, obviously, so you aren't going to probably do hundreds of these, but you know, if you want to make a card for somebody special or make one for your fall journal, it's just a fun thing. And like I said, relaxing, I think. Oh, yeah, got too much paint again. Well, we have the shape, that's for sure. It looked like it was really sucking it up, kind of like that one did, but I guess it was not. Let's try it again down here. Yeah, that's a little bit better, huh? Oh well, can't get them all. You can come back with, like I said, some black ink and draw in some veins if you want to do that. Or another thing you could do if you do a boo-boo like that is just cut out the good ones and use them, you know, however you want, wherever you want. And don't even worry about the ones that get messed up. That's another possibility. You could also wait until they dry and then splatter or drip coffee or something like that. That would look cool too. Then I got thinking, what if we did like wintry looking ones? Because, you know, you could do that. There's no rules. So I've got more blues and things like that. Now, this isn't great because I've painted a lot of these, but I have a couple leaves left that I can use. You know how leaves get all, well, not, there's usually none left on the trees, but everything gets all frosty. So I think you could do this and it would just be fun. So I have on this palette, that is Tumbled Glass. I think that's Speckled Egg. Then over there I have Salty Ocean, and that's Villainous Potion. Salty Ocean, Villainous Potion. That threw my brain for a minute for some reason. I don't know why. Because I'm goofy, that's why. It'd probably be better if I had really nice clean water, but I don't. So we're just going to go with what we got here. I apparently got that spray everywhere. Let's go with these ones this time for more of an icy look. I probably wouldn't do a ton of the Salty Ocean or the Villainous Potion. Just dots, almost like I was doing with the darker browns and stuff in the other ones, like on the ends. I mean, I think you could do these in any colorway that you feel like doing, and it would work. Oh, I forgot to do the stem again. Why do I keep doing that? Almost struggling with the stems today. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to have to make a stem here. Do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. And then silver, do silver instead of gold. These would be fun in like with the witchy journal, that kind of thing too, or like Halloween. These kind of turn out a little bit better just because you do get a little bit less paint than you do on the other one I was using. The Morning Glory. Sorry. Woo, drawing a complete blank there. Okay. And dab it off a little bit. I'm going to grab another paper towel too, because that one's getting pretty goopy. Let's go this way. I forgot to put the silver in the stem there. Feels like the gold paint moves around a little bit better, but it's okay. I tried using a brayer because I know a lot of people say, use a brayer. Because that's another thing that just ends up looking like a big mush. Because it just squishes all that paint out up whatever direction. So don't do it. Ah, that one's okay. No matter how much you want to, don't do it. Do a little purple. I didn't think I wanted purple, but I do think the purple helps. And I think they might look cool if you did them on coffee dyed paper with the icy colors. I love that combination, as you know, if you have any of my winter kits. I like that kind of coffee dyed with the icy. I think it just goes cool together, so I think that would look neat. But yeah, all I can say is play around and just see, you know, what you get. The gold definitely moves through the liquid better than the silver. Not sure why, but it does. Kind of touch the tips so that they almost look like they're glittered. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Well, let's do a little splatter on those first. I'll do the blue. And some silver. I mean, I think I'm partial to the other colorway, but if you wanted to do the icy look, I think it does turn out pretty cool. All right, so I'll let those dry, and then I'm going to come back, and a couple of them I think we'll go over with the fountain pen here and see how that turns out. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and they're dry. I think this one I'm going to leave just the way it is. It's not totally dry yet anyways, but I like it just how it is. This one I'm going to try the black ink on simply because I like this bottom one, but this one really obviously has lost something. This one I have an idea for, so we'll talk about that. But this one, I think I would cut these three out and use them like we used in the fall journal, those book page leaves. Do something like that. That one's just kind of messed up. So that's what I would do. Let's try to put some of the ink on this one, and then we'll do the blue thing next. And the only thing I'm concerned about is those dots are a little bit wet, so I need to be really careful. So I don't know. I think this would be one of my kind of funky drawings. This is not wanting to cooperate especially either. This is the other thing. The distress oxides and pens are not really friends. So sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. And it doesn't seem to matter what the pen is. Like it will work and then it won't. So I don't know what the deal is. Could be because I just replaced the ink in it. It's being a little persnickety, so I'm not sure I'm going to even be able to get... Oh, you know what would have worked is those gold pens I just bought. That's what I should have done. That worked. But the gold pens would have been cooler. Yeah, it just does not like... Nothing likes that distress oxide. It's got an odd kind of a texture to it, and it's sort of like these pens just say no. They're just like There's actually quite a few veins in these particular leaves, and you don't have to draw like 100% of the line. You can just give the illusion of the line there. Just does not want to. And I don't think like my Sharpie, well, I know the Sharpie wouldn't be better because it half the time you can't get it to work at all on anything that has ink paint, no matter what it is. Yeah, that doesn't like that. Does not like it. Just the illusion of it, I guess, is all we're going to get here. And that's fine. You can even do, you know, just some marks on the leaves, like they might get. Okay, so maybe something like that if you had some that didn't come out perfect, but you can definitely still see the gold, which is cool. This one, I don't think that I would go around with the ink, just because I feel like you can see that well, and I wouldn't go around the ones that I'm going to cut out either necessarily. But this one, I think it would be fun to do some like paint swatch things on. So maybe, I'm trying to think where I want it. I would like it up there because I messed up right there, but there's not a ton of room. And I don't know that I would get that anyways. I did clean up my water so that it's not so gross. And I don't really want to like paint them in entirely. Oh, I just put that in my coffee. It's not coffee to drink, it's coffee for dripping. And I stuck it right in there. It's fine. I used it the other day. It's actually tea, not coffee, but Guess that'll be going in the sink. Just put all of this. And then you could round the corners, maybe put a little bit of fabric, something, and, you know, turn it into a journaling card. So just some ideas. I don't know, play with it and see what you guys come up with. And I would love to see it. So if you're on Instagram or whatever, tag me so that I can see what you're up to. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you give it a try, and we will chat again soon. Love ya. Bye.